Hello everyone, this is the Raven's Librarian with my second part video of Steamworld Quest, The Hand of Gilgamesh. We will be going through chapter 2 in this episode. In the last episode, our intrepid heroes, the knight and the alchemist, journeyed into the forest near their village in order to acquire a rare type of mushroom, the peppermint puffer, in order to help their town with an issue with their wealth. Something about that sounds weird. Anyway, now we'll be returning. You can now choose to revisit previous chapters from this screen in order to collect treasure you might have missed or gain more experience from fighting monsters. When you're ready to continue, simply choose the latest available chapter to continue the story. Oh, that's convenient. Oh, they have a nice... Oh, that's a nice touch. I'm guessing... Yeah, I think I recall this. Yeah, the map would blur. They'd add stuff as you kept going.
Chapter 2. The Village of Goose Buckets.
I believe this is where the merchant shows up. Once you get... That's why I've told you a million times already, you should never stroke a duck against the wind. But it was so cute and fluffy and... A wagon! A fluffy wagon duck? No, look over there. Wow, I've never seen a wagon like that before. I wonder whose it is. Was that here earlier? Wouldn't hurt to have a look, I suppose. Here's the ever-common traveling merchant in fantasy games. Hello? Hello? Anyone in there? Maybe they're out. Just give me a minute. A knight errant knocking on an old woman's wagon this early in the morning. Sorry to disturb, we were just curious. You're totally a wise old woman, right? Oh, do you hand out quests? Because I'm more than ready for it. No, I'm afraid I'm just a plain old traveling shopkeeper, and the shop is not quite open yet. Aw, we've been on a mission from the ancient gods, and we've been picking mushrooms. Excuse my friend, we didn't mean to bother you. Oh, not at all. In fact, what sort of a merchant would I be if you leave without a small sample? Ooh, a tribute from a wise elder? Not everything's a quest. Lowers all foes' strength by 1 grave retreat. Deals 120% magic as frost damage to one foe and an equal amount to another random foe. Just the thing for a pair of young go-getters such as yourself, I should think. Farewell, and be sure to visit my shop in town later, once that ruckus over there is over with. What a nice old lady. Yeah, wait, what does she mean by ruckus, though? You've received a batch of brand new punch cards. Now, how nice. To use them in battle, you need to pay a visit to the deck building screen and put them in your punch card deck. Try going into the pause menu using the controls shown below. Also, it might be a bit too late to ask, but it's the second video, so... If any of you are sick of hearing me badly imitate voices, please let me know. I promise I'll stop doing it if it's too annoying. Just felt like it was, might as well fill the void somehow. The deck building screen lets you edit your hero's punch card decks. To the left is a folder containing all your collected cards. Right now, your collection is pretty meager, but don't worry, you'll find many more punch cards on your adventure. On the right is the hero's deck of cards available in battle. You can add cards to the deck by selecting them in your card folder, and remove cards from the deck by selecting them in the deck list. Each hero must have exactly 8 cards in their deck. Keeping your deck up to date is key to being successful in battle, so be sure to check out this screen whenever you find a new card. So obviously the trick once you get a party is to figure out a good balance. Like I said, this card is comparatively kind of not as, like the difference isn't too big, but I think I recall that over time the gap might change based on their stats. I don't recall too well how the stat difference as you level up. But like in her case, the magic spells she gets are a lot more valuable, and this card's more useful than this one overall. So since there's no one else has this kind of card, so at least this one can be replaced by this one fairly easily. The only thing you lose if you don't have her card is something to build up steam from her deck. So you have to keep that in mind if you want to actually use that. Now I know what I'm doing. There we go, that's better. Well, looks like 1. Just to try it out. It's the best attack we have so far, so I'll keep as much as possible. Now there's boxes everywhere. Like that one had coins. Wait a minute. Something's not right. Where are those thick guild hero types who are supposed to watch the gate? You mean the ones who laughed at us and said, "Don't get lost in the forest"? Maybe Master Gain summoned everyone to the guild house? Once I get my guild membership, I'll honor the code just like Gilgamesh. We'll strike down injustice with fire. Damn right. Sparks will fly if anyone so much as tries to. No, look at the smoke. Something's burning. Hurry, let's find out what's going on. Speed up. In a hurry, you can use controls shown below to move faster while exploring battles. We'll move faster too. You can also double click if you prefer to use the mouse to move around. Wow, that's fire alright. What happened? We were only gone for a few hours. Look, there's some commotion going on towards Market Square. Let's go check it out. Now I don't want to get too ahead of, but you can kind of tell based on the animation of the face when the person's talking. She's not too concerned at this point. And you could argue that's because she's more excited than she is concerned. Because for her, none of this is, this new exciting stuff. I gotta jump ahead. I'll let a few things happen first. Here the titular bad guys. And this will be our ever-recurring nuisance. A decisive victory for the Void. Those dumbbells never knew what hit them. It was us, sir. We hit them, sir. Corporal Budge, as in previous villages, see to it that all guild heroes are wrapped up neatly. Yes, sir. An honor, sir. We'll have them all rounded up and ready for transport in no time. You heard the captain. Let's sweep the village with pride in our chest. A new world order is close at hand. Everybody gets a stat buff. Yay. This is great. I've always wanted to be an evil henchman, just in case you were about to take these guys too seriously. They add that line. I know the Dark Lord will reshuffle the world and all, but why do we need all these guild heroes? Yeah, utter indicator. You can get meta with this, and actually this game actually gets really clever with the name convention, but classic fantasy rules. If you're a leader, it's called the Dark Lord, you're the bad guy. And obviously, if you're watching, reading, or playing a story where the villain actually unironically calls themselves the Dark Lord, yeah, you can pretty much understand at that point this is not meant to be a super complicated story, which in itself is neither a good nor a bad thing. It's just a point to keep in mind when judging the story. I missed it then. So he's I know the Dark Lord is going to reshuffle the world's order and all, but why do we need to capture all these guild heroes again? You're one of the new recruits, right? We don't ask any questions in the void. Why not? Shut up. Aha! You numbskulls are obviously involved with the fire. Prepare to be rightfully punished. More guild heroes? The captain will be pleased. Oh, I'm not really part of the guild yet, but thank you. Prepare to go down, evildoers. Same with the voice. I plan to use the shift ability to speed up battles. If that annoys people watching if they prefer to watch the gameplay in normal speed, again, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna look for ways to make this more entertaining, but also look for ways to make this go a lot faster. Wait, maybe. This is me going on pressing the shift button, just in case. So yeah, at this point we're following a pretty straightforward fantasy event. Went on a quest outside of town, came back, everything suddenly got worse. So now it's a matter of figuring out why exactly these bad guys are pillaging the town and attacking everybody. And we'll learn more about what they're up to as the chapter goes on. And I should probably talk about what I mentioned before, where you kind of, based on the animations and the dialogue, you kind of try to infer a bit of the person's emotion. And in her case, the knight, you could kind of tell that she wasn't as anxious as the alchemist about what was going on in the town. And I might be reading too much into it, but I always saw it as part of like the difference between the two of them when it came to the situation. For the alchemist, she's worried about the townsfolk. You know, she's immediately concerned with, oh God, what's going on? Why is it on fire? Is everyone hurt? And the knight does care. She's really upset with what these guys are doing, and her first instinct is to just go on the attack. That's fine. But what I mean is that in her case, you could. At least for me, I read sort of in her voice the fact that once things started going, it's the thing that when you're reading the journey on a book, you're like, oh, now things are getting interesting, you know, finally an adventure. Like I said, I don't want to jump to any dramatic places, like. If things in the town had gotten much, much worse, like if they hadn't gone here soon, you know. But they got here on time. That'll teach them not to play with fire. See, stuff like this now, where she's being a lot more flippant about what's going on. And did you hear? They thought I was a guild hero. Speaking of which, where are the guild heroes? They should have taken care of those goons right from the start. Someone's coming. On guard, you pyromaniac. Wait, Galileo. Big grouch, why didn't you come with us for the forest? We met this giant mushroom and found a cool wagon with a never mind that. What the heck happened here? How would I know? And what's with people anyway? I just came from the baker and he was cowering behind the counter with his eyes shut real hard. He kept saying, take what you want, just don't hurt me. That's terrible. Did he say anything about what's going on? Nah, didn't want to bother him. Figured I'd play along. Fresh buns, anyone? Breakfast, finally! Gimme. What is it? You mean you didn't hear or see anything? Nope. I've been getting things done in the basement all morning. I fine-tuned my water pressure and shifted this nozzle for the water to squirt in the morning. Alright. We have to hurry. It looks like the smoke is thicker downtown. And when you say we, you mean all three of us, so get a move on. Woohoo! All good things come in trees. I should have stayed in bed. This homebody craftsman struggles to find good reason to leave his mother's basement. Won't offer assistance freely, and he may bicker and brawl, but when it comes to the crunch, you can always trust him to be there for a friend. Well, I can't relate to this guy at all. We don't have a basement. No. Yes, he does. So Galileo, he's, way I remember him, he's sort of a combination of, he's the tank, and he's very good at support. I think he has a few good attacks, but the way I remember using him a lot, like his main contribution to the team was often like focused on how to put this right. He had the biggest contribution was just in his stats and his support ability. So like this is his heal ability. So him with Copernica and her shields, it's one of the best ways to like keep the party alive, since you can then focus on Armely being the offensive one. So. But as you can see, Galileo does have a few attacks to actually contribute if necessary. Like that. Now I'm gonna give him the scout bag. Give him this just a here. Sometimes they'll hide stuff behind the screen. So that's just the baker. Baker, Claire, are you alright? I think so. I hid behind my counter as soon as the commotion started. When I finally got my nerves sorted enough for a quick peek, everybody was gone and the village was on fire. And as if that wasn't enough, they stole my freshly baked buns. What a lousy thing to do. Yeah, such animals. What about the other villagers, or the guild heroes? Last thing I saw before ducking down was a group of folks heading for the tavern. I'm sure everyone's fine, but still, I feel a bit relieved that my parents decided to visit my aunt this week. Yeah, I'm not too worried about Mom either. I booby-trapped the whole house from the attic down to the basement. Sounds perfectly safe. So yeah, I don't want to overemphasize the idea that she's like more interested in the action than what happened. You have gained the ability to use heroic chains. If you play at least 3 cards from the same hero, regardless of type, in the same turn, you'll perform a heroic chain, adding a follow-up effect at the end of the chain. So yeah, I now recall this is the reason why I had a tendency to do that as much as possible. Like that was my preference. The effect depends on the weapon the hero has equipped, so look around for weapons with chain effects that match your playstyle. No, what I meant was that I don't want to make it sound as though the knight is more fascinated by what's going on and not caring about the villagers, because that's definitely not the case. Even without spoiling anything, it's pretty clear that she does care about the villagers. But for me, the impression always was that there was this little part of her that's obviously, in some part of her, happy that anything is actually happening. because now that gives her a chance to prove herself. You can use recovery items in battle by accessing the battle menu at any time during your turn and selecting and we already recovery items from the list. You can also inspect foes to learn more about their weaknesses and active effects, as well as retreat if battle isn't going your way. Although retreating, no. Okay, so maybe I should do that at least once. Oh, okay, that's not. I'm pretty sure since they're mages, that's not gonna. This card isn't gonna do much. That's a good thing that as mages, they don't seem to have an actual weakness towards most of the magic elemental attacks. I'm pretty sure this will finish him. Means one allies physical defense by 2 great. This is where my perception of the guy might be based more on playstyle than actual, skill for the role. But yeah, I often focused on using his stats rather than his attacks. So I definitely had to change that every now and again depending on the enemies. The biggest challenge for me when doing RPGs like this is not sort of getting lazy and over-committing to a certain style just because changing the deck is it consumes a lot of time. It's not unreasonable at times, just that I get into the drive of just wanting to get through the journey, fight the enemies, So in the same mentality that I try to I don't like going back and grinding on purpose with the enemies just to be over level. Part of my brain just prevents me from just thinking, okay, maybe I just need to change the deck in order to get better results. This cancel or no? Just rip. This should do enough for him. What do you guys think of the enemies design? I think they're sort of going, given that their name, the Void, I think they're going for like an underworld, type of aesthetic. At least with their main design, like the eye, sort of reminiscent of like some. This might just be my association rather than an actual connection, but like it reminds me of this. The head reminds me of the dogs from Egyptian lore, and the eyes. So I start thinking they're like the eyes of Anubis and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's actually deliberate, but makes me think they're going for that type of aesthetic. And then you obviously have the distinction between the two classes where their warriors carry shields and lances, and their mages, for lack of a better word to use, wear capes and have like very noticeable gauntlets. Hello. Oh, Giron, help my poor soul. I'm too young to be turned into dust. Calm down, Quinn. Nobody's turning anyone into anything. It came out of nowhere. Just like the rash I got from the well water. The joke aside, I think that's why we were sent to deals 515% strength at physical damage to one foe. Combo deals an additional 200% strength. Some cards are stronger when played together with a card from another hero. This is called a tag team combo. Cards that have tag team combo effects have an icon corresponding to the other hero on the card. The card's detailed description also explains what bonus you get. To activate the tag team combo bonus, simply play any card from the indicated hero before the card with the tag team combo effect in the same. And so now you have a different set of combinations that you have to consider. You want to go all in on a character's deck and gain their special card, or do you want to combine two character abilities to get whatever bonus this card brings with it? And the only problem with this one is that it's very demanding with steam power. I get at least one. Just to show it off. With the bandits outside of town. I imagine those guys weren't actually related with these guys. So for them, it's just they just had a very simple, sort of like, I don't know if it's the right word for it since they're all machines, but like they didn't have a lot of like, in contrast to these guys, the bandits outside of town didn't have a lot of cleanness to their design. So like all their stuff was very rubbed up. Maybe if I get another. Yeah. Also, I just remember the contrast between these guys. So this one has the dog head. This one has the bird beak. I do wonder. This is based. This franchise has games before this one. I don't know if they're connected. Like if they all occur in the same universe. The narration at the start suggests that this is a story in their universe, so it might be based on a real thing. But don't know if it's based on what I mean. If there's any continuity between the games. So like, oh, the reason people look like this is because of this reason, or everybody has this similar design for a specific, origin reason. I think I just said that twice. in some cases, if you can't get an actual combo going, you're at least for me, you're better off just using simple cards and trying to build up steam. I don't know if they've done it before, but that move they just did, that's for, if it couldn't read it because it went too fast, it's for a counter attack. So if they don't go down and you hit them in the turn that they're attacked in, they don't go down that turn, he responds with a physical attack. There we go. With the boost, it should be enough to finish him. Clean hit. And at this point, the enemies like to focus on buffs. So a lot of the enemies have attacks based on taking away your ability to boost stuff. So like they're obviously already keeping into account what cards you're gonna have. So their whole, you have the ability to raise your attack, and they have one. There it is. So yeah, that's the problem with the counter thing. It's not just once; they'll do it every time you attack them. But probably shouldn't have used the person with the weakest defense for that. Oh yeah, that should finish him. Don't need to overthink it. Ah, I didn't see that. You can actually see there's someone up there. I talked to them? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to throw a sword at you. Is it just me, or is it getting hotter? Half the village is on fire. Of course it's hot. The smoke is figured this way, though. We're getting close to Town Hall. In most games, the fact that the save thing doesn't really seem to interact with the world, it's pretty normal. Now in this case, they actually acknowledge that this statue is here in the first chapter, but then you might think, oh, so it's just that's the save feature, and not really think about it, moving forward. This is kind of a spoiler, but it's the second playthrough. Hopefully nobody gets the impression that I'm gonna be going at this blind, and aren't too bothered by this. The fact that this is here And the fact that the guys went through the entire town, setting things on fire, clearly for no goddamn good reason. Like, they're just setting things on fire, like, just to be rude about this. And yet, none of them touched this statue. That is pretty much, you know, it gives you one of two impressions, which are the actual points, which is they can't, in which case this thing is magic and don't think about it too much, or they wouldn't, in which case it tells you something about these guys, which is that for all their banditry and supposedly being evil shtick joke about being part of an evil group, even they respect this guy. You know, it's sort of like the idea that, like, you know, bandits will raid towns, but they won't desecrate, you know, the great hero's burial ground. You know, whether that's realistic, you know, that's up to you. What? Why aren't you with the other prisoners? Bah, those incompetent tinheads. They're soiling the reputation of the Void Army. The Void Army? What exactly are you up to here? Besides burning down Town Hall, obviously. I don't answer to any guild scum. I do the bidding of the Dark Lord, whose sabatons you're not even worthy of polishing. The Dark Lord who? Never heard of him. You could do the bidding of a goat for all I care. If you don't spill the beans, we'll spill them for you. I already mentioned this in the last part, but I really like the music in this game. Especially the battle music, when you get into bosses. Gonna save the steam for the magic in the next turn. So like you notice, this guy is smart enough to use a lot of debuffs when we're fighting. He has the advantage of being able to attack more than once, which, you know, boss fight stuff, but it's fair because he's outnumbered. It sort of plays into his style that is actually really fast. But regardless, the fact that his AI is smart enough to make sure that we're not able to just constantly buff up our attack. He's not just waiting for us to like deal a lot of damage to him. There's also the part where he likes to attack someone and take their health, which is actually why it's a good thing to like use her Copernicus ability to like shield everybody, because then when he does stab you, he doesn't actually gain any health from it, which helps you speed up the fight, because if you let him keep doing that, even if you heal, you're just gonna get stuck. As long as you can keep up making more damage than he can recover, and in return you are making progress, but obviously you want to do as much damage as possible while giving him as few times to recover. So you gotta balance between keeping yourself alive, just wailing on him, and giving yourself something to stop him from getting too much health back. So like at this stage, I'm on normal, so you know, easy. This isn't the hardest fight, the hardest version of this fight. But losing to him in a straight-up way isn't really likely, assuming you know what to do. But what you do gotta worry about is prolonging the fight, you know. The real risk only comes from when you pay more attention to hitting him than staying alive, or vice versa. Spending too much time avoiding hits and not realizing that he's already making... that he's basically not losing, taking health. This is all pretty standard stuff, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people out there that, you know, are way better at this game than I am. But, you know, like, I am playing it, I might as well give some contribution as to what my thought process is, on the off chance anyone's curious. It's kind of redundant, but if we're gonna get the 3 barrier thing, there's not too big a loss there, but obviously if I just do that, I'm not gonna get anywhere with this. Also, I definitely recalled that this guy had a bird on his head, but I had forgotten that Galileo has a bird companion in his shoulder the whole time. Same as with the lore stuff, I wonder if there's an association between the birds or why they're there. I want to debuff. We'll debuff him before he... Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm doing the very thing I said I shouldn't do, which is get stuck in a rut fighting this guy. Should be making way more progress by this point. Hopefully this should do it. If there's one thing I've learned from the army, it's that a good retreat covers a bad loss. And we're just letting him getaway. Get back here, you Tweety bird. Come on, let's go after him. Armely, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the town is on fire. Oh, right. I guess we should put out those fires. Still, we kicked this can real good. Priorities. Please. At least they gave a reason. With relative safety restored to the village of Goosebucket, our expanded ensemble set off for the local chapter of the Heroes Guild to find out what the heck is going on. Oh, I missed one. Dang. Well, regardless, I hope you all enjoyed this chapter. Hope you all enjoy what's going on and my commentary. I see you in the next one, where we will head into the guild, and as they said, find out just what the heck is going on. Take care, everyone. See you in the next one.